What's going on, Junkie Nation? Gorgeous George and Goes checking in here with one of our favorites, Rob Font, UFC bantamweight, who just signed on to fight Dominick Cruz at a fight night coming up in Seattle, Washington. And that's very, very bantamweight heavy because the main event has Cejudo versus Song, and Rob Font versus Dominick Cruz looks like it's in that co-main event slot. How you doing, Rob? Good to talk to you, man.
I'm doing great, guys. How you guys doing?
Good. Thank you, man. Seattle, Washington. You're going all the way to the northwest there. What do you think of that? Do you like fighting in different cities, or
Yeah,
now that you punched the clock and paid your dues, do you like to stick back east, or
yeah, no,
what's?
I'm excited. I've never been to Seattle. It's pretty cool. I'm always down to explore different cities. Never really crossed my mind to actually go check out Seattle, but now that I'm fighting there, I've been, I got to start, researching things to do. And actually, I had a teammate that used to live out there, so he threw me a couple of recommendations. But yeah, I'm excited. I'll be in Vegas for Calvin's fight the week before, so so it won't be like a long flight for me. So it'll be from Vegas to Seattle, whatever that flight is. So it'll be easy travel, and yeah, I'm definitely excited to be out there.
Yeah, the Emerald City. I've never been either, but it does look like a tempting fight night to go to.
Let's
Just
go,
because I could
man.
knock off two things, just
Guys,
catch
come out, man. Just
a
come out.
good card that's
Come
deep
out.
with talent and seeing a proper city in the
Let's go.
Northwest. Rob, so we found out through your last fight, you're now working up in Montreal. Is that just you or Calvin as well? Because you two seem to be pretty inseparable buddies and teammates.
Yeah. So yeah, I kind of basically spent summer out here just kind of try it out. Then Calvin kind of came up for my last camp to kind of help me out, and he kind of liked it, so he's here for his camp. Coming up with his next fight. So yeah, it's like it was a rough transition at first, as far as obviously a new gym, being the new guy and all that. But it definitely helped that Calvin was there as well.
Is this the New England cartel going, like, traveling, or is the New England cartel maybe now in the past and this is now just you guys working with TriStar?
No, I just more of like we're just traveling right now. We kind of like wanted to just mix it up a little bit. It's getting different looks. Like today, I got to just sit down and talk to Rory McDonald and pick his brain on a couple ideas, a couple fights, and I feel like that's the kind of thing we're maybe missing a little bit, is that kind of those older guys, the big bros, the ex champions. We were kind of those guys back home, and now we get the opportunity to kind of like get those those conversations, get that kind of mentorship through obviously Faraz, Roy McDonald, all the guys at TriStar, even Aim Zahavi's been a huge help for me. You obviously got George St. Pierre and all the legends that stopped in and walked through TriStar. So it was just thinking more of a just kind of mixing up a little bit more.
The last I knew about Rory McDonald, he lived in Florida. He retired. Is he now in a coaching role over there at TriStar?
No, he's just training. I'm sure he's helping out and coaching with the guys, but he's just like, it's pretty cool, man. Like, it's like they're just training still, like him, George. There's a lot of guys that are in and out. Ivan Menjivar, like they're just going to the gym train. Like if they have fights coming up, it's impressive. They're true martial artists. They're not just training for camps or fights. They're just in the gym just to get a workout in, just to work on their technique and improve.
Most fighters go where it's warm. Why'd you decide to go where it's colder?
I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, it was I got tricked. I went in the summertime, like I said, and now I'm paying for it, man. It's been snowing every day since I've been out here. But it was actually I met Faraz at one of my fight when I fought Matt Schnell back in I believe 2017, I think it was. And he offered. He always say, "Hey, man, come out. You're not too far from us. Always come out if you want to come out." And I didn't blow him off, but I just didn't necessarily like wasn't like wasn't ready to kind of travel a little bit, or so it was kind of like yeah, cool. So once I thought about the idea of doing it, I reached out to him. It was a 4 and a half hour drive from Boston, so it wasn't too bad. And Montreal was a cool town, so I just we got out here. But now it's like I'm paying for it, man. It's cold out here. It's snowing every day, and but the train is awesome.
On top of that, you got that Puerto Rican Caribbean blood in you too.
Yeah,
So yeah,
it's
I hear
rough,
you,
man.
man.
It's rough.
Is it tough getting in and out of the country? I'm not suggesting you don't have, you know, I'm not suggesting you're a troubled youth or anything like that. I'm just hearing sometimes it can be hard to get into Canada. I've heard
Yeah,
from
no,
some of the
like
guys here in Vegas, man. Like,
I'm always a little nervous when we get to the border, because obviously they can always turn you away for whatever reason. They always kind of grill me, but like I think like when we get there, like some of them they're pretty big in MMA fans. Most of the security guards, so they kind of know who we were. Especially last time, they kind of knew who Calvin and I were, so it was easier. But they're always just grilling you, man. I get it's your job, and so I think we've been lucky enough, and we've done it enough, and they've seen us enough there to where like when we go there, like okay, hey, they're like always at the end of it, like good luck, guys. We can't wait for you, to watch your guys fight. So, but yeah, I'm always a little nervous going in, getting to that border because I'm like I just drove 4 hours. I do not want to get turned around.
I was grilled once going from Detroit to Windsor, all because on my passport I just had this dumb little shave in my eyebrow that I didn't have at the time. Um, but yeah, man, I found out as well where they just that alone, like they pull you over for a good 45 minutes.
Yeah, especially like because we usually stay out here. Like the last time, like I was almost here for like 8 weeks. So they're like, they pull us over to kind of make sure that like, from my understanding, is to make sure as far as like taxes, immigration, like we're not here for too long, and if we are, we gotta obviously pay our share. So they want to like, kind of get more information of how long and what we're actually doing out here. But this time it was super easy. We was only out here for 5 weeks, so it was real smooth. But yeah, I'm always a little like, man, I hope we make it through. And like, but yeah, we made it through, man. They can be strict.
Our guest is Rob Font. He's fighting Dominick Cruz at an upcoming fight night in February, about a month away now. Solid card. Fluffy Hernandez is on the card against Brendan Allen. Cruz versus Font. Cejudo versus Song. Ketlin Vieira. She's got Macy Chasson. So they got a lot of ranked fighters here. All right, goes. What do you got for Rob Font?
Rob, so Deion Sanders, a football player, also played baseball a little bit. I heard him talk a couple days ago, and he had mentioned he was kind of talking about coaching, and he said, "Look, everywhere I have been, he's pretty much been the best at his position." But he said he learned from every coach, no matter whether it was at the beginning of his career or towards the end or in the middle. He said everything had a different perspective and something new to offer. Can you maybe tell us what was day one like when you went over there to TriStar? And can you maybe share like the first thing that kind of hit you?
Yeah, I was just impressed. I was just impressed with the way Faraz controlled the room, the way he carried himself. He gloved up and sparred with me the first day. We rolled for the first day, and then after that, I'm like going to like go put my stuff down and get ready to leave, and he jumps on the treadmill. So I'm like, oh man, I gotta jump on the treadmill too myself, and I can't let him outwork me, So I'm running sprints next to him. So it was like, all right, man, I see the work. He's teaching twice a day, Monday through Thursday. He's holding pads. He's rolling himself. Like, I don't know what I was thinking. Like, I don't know why I thought like he was like just a main like a striking coach. And but he's his jiu-jitsu and his knowledge in jiu-jitsu in wrestling is top notch. I was sold from that day on. I was like, that was it. I'm in. I love the way his program is as far as like the just straight BJJ program from like his beginners class to his intermediate class to even his online content, man. I really bought in. I bought most of his online content to kind of like make sure I don't have to ask the same question over and over before, once I get to class. So it's yeah, I was just impressed, man. And then just the amount of knowledge and experience he has, and I feel like he's the type of guy you can ask him anything. If he doesn't know, he'll point you in the right direction. Um, and yeah, I was just super impressed. Biggest thing for me was just kind of like keeping the scramble going and not like getting down on yourself if I do get taken down or when I do get taken down and kind of getting creative there. And he's not just he's a striking coach; he's a grappling coach, and it's I was just super impressed the first day I walked in.
Now, I've always known him to be one of the best at solving puzzles. And Dominick Cruz historically has been a puzzle that has been kind of difficult for people to find to replicate his style, right? His style was catered a lot towards movement, speed, but he is at the end of his career, and a lot of people say you can't really beat Father Time, right?
Yeah.
What Dominic Cruz are you expecting? Do you expect him to kind of have that same style and try and be that same guy? Does it kind of mess with you thinking this is his last one? Maybe he might change things up. How's it been trying to solve that puzzle?
Um, I hope he does change it up. I think it's if he comes a little more aggressive and he wants to strike a little bit more. I think it's more opportunity for me to catch him. I don't think so. I think he's going to kind of do his same thing and stay on the outside, keep moving around and look for takedowns when he can. But he's a legend for a reason. He's got a funny style that's hard to mimic. I don't think you find anybody that can mimic what he does, and that's going to be tricky. He's definitely going to have a lot of strategy and tactics that like most guys I believe I fought don't really buy into, and he's a smart dude, man. Like I trained with him before, and like you could tell he's smart. He's always studying the game. He was ahead of the time, most of the time of the game with his style. He's always studying the game. He's watching fights every weekend. He's studying for obviously for his job and all that. So it's kind of like, it's not like I'm fighting some dude that stuck in 2009. He's up to date with everything. And this is going to be one of those type of fights that I got to like mature up and level up and everywhere and just to kind of like make sure I get this W.
You've always been a very respectful guy. And like you said, Dominic is a legend in our sport. He said this will be his last fight. Can you envision once it's all said and done, once you guys have had your fight? Um, I just think that's so cool. Somebody's career wrapping up like that. Could you envision having a beer with him and just kind of talking about what just happened?
100%, 100%. I would love to get in there, get my hand raised, have a beer with him, wait a couple weeks, and then go back to training with him. I would love to get in the room with him. Mexico sounds a lot better than Canada with the weather and all that, but I wouldn't mind training with him. Yeah, no, I have nothing but respect for him. I didn't know, I didn't see this fight being on my radar. I right as I was walking out for my last fight, Sean Shelby pulls Calvin Kattar to the side and said, "Hey, I think I have Rob's next fight." And then they mentioned Cruz, and I was like, "Okay." So then my mind started shifting from there, and I was like, "All right, let's get ready for that fight." And then it finally got announced not too long ago. But I had nothing but respect for him. But at the same time, I will go out there and I am trying to be as aggressive and mean as possible until that bell rings, and then we can be cool and have a beer and all that.
I did want to bring up aggression, and you can tell me if I'm just crazy or what. But one thing I thought, being in your situation right now, he is a legend of the sport. It is his last fight. I imagine the fans are probably going to be cheering for him a little bit. And aside from that, sometimes the judging, the way fans react to things and it being his last fight, has that ever been anything that's crossed your mind? Because I know you're always a guy that does go for that finish, but that almost even more important because of the magnitude of this fight?
You know what's fun? I didn't think about it till you said it right there. I'm like, oh, yeah, that could be I could see how like he could touch me one time, the crowd go crazy. Never really thought about it. Um, yeah, I just gotta make sure he doesn't get off. He doesn't get comfortable. To let the judges get involved and get the crowd get involved. And I gotta get that finish, man. I need that finish. Not that I need it, that I want that finish. I want that that clear cut. This like there's nothing around it. You don't even need to bring the judges in. The crowd doesn't matter what the crowd says. I want the crowd to be on my side after the W. But yeah, that could be a thing. Like where he has that star power. He's been around for so long that like any little thing he does, the crowd's gonna go wild. So I just got to make sure that he doesn't get anything off.
He says he doesn't believe in ring rust, and he can back it up. He's got a Hall of Fame resume, right? But what do you think of that comment? What's the longest you've had between fights, and have you ever felt ring rust?
I agree with him. I kind of agree with him. I've taken a year off before, and felt better. Felt rested, felt recovered. Um, he's been a little longer, so we'll see. But I do believe once you're in a fight, you're in a fight, and you're going. I think especially if you're trying to fight. If you're trying to play the point game and everything like that, like I could see how like it might hurt you a little bit. But I think guys train so much and as far as sparring and as far as like these camps, man, like they're brutal. Like I think the moment you get out there, it's going to happen, and it's kind of like, like think about it, like if you were in a street fight, you're not going to wait any couple weeks to get into a street fight. You're just on and you're going. And I think that survival, whatever that little survival thing is always in us. So yeah, I'm not banking on his age. I'm not banking on his ring rust to kind of get me through this fight. I'm expecting the WEC crews to come out there and trying to take my head off. And I do believe this is going to be one of the toughest fights I've been in for a while.
Where did you guys train when you did train in the past?
Vegas. It was I think it was UFC 300. Calvin Kattar was out there fighting. Um, we his the, my one of my BJJ instructors, Ruben, actually grew up with um, Cruz in San Diego. He's from San Diego. He's in Boston now, but so he kind of like put it together, and we just got some. It was like maybe like 2 sessions. Yeah, we did 2 sessions. One was at a BJJ school, and the next one was at the PI, and it was just grappling, no sparring or nothing like that. And he helped me out a lot, man. So it's kind of like, hopefully I could use some of the tricks he showed me on him, But he helped me out a lot. Super respectful, real cool. Just like I think a natural leader. He walked into the room and just led the room, led the warm up. Kind of had like direction where we wanted to go with the workout, and it was awesome.
Has he ever called one of your fights?
Yeah, I think I think everyone at the the Apex, I think he called. He even called the last one. I think like I said, Sean Shelby, I believe, right when he told Calvin that he pulled Cruz to the side and asked if he was interested in the fight.
Have you ever I'm not looking for anything like a gotcha moment, but I'm just curious, in rewatching your fights, which most fighters do, have you ever heard him say anything that you thought, I don't agree? Or maybe has even heaped some praise on you where you're like, oh man, that's my dog.
Yeah, no, he always he always compliments obviously my jab. He always compliments the right hand and the power in my right hand. And and obviously he keeps it straight up. He's like, so when I'm messing up, he'll let you know, like, hey, he's not actually down blocking when he needs to be down blocking. This is what he's doing. He should be doing that. So I listen to it and I take it back and I hold on to it and I try to fix, like even in my last fight, a couple of things he mentioned, I was like, oh, that's so true, because that's exactly what Faraz was saying, or my other coaches were saying. So it's he's very educated. He keeps it short and simple, and but he's never like really, like, I guess, like disrespected me or said something which I didn't agree with.
Okay. In a way, he's ahead of you with the study, the research, up until maybe when you found out you were going to fight. But in a way, he almost kind of like led you, I guess he almost tipped you off to what he saw, positive and negative.
Yeah.
So you kind of almost know what he's thinking.
Yeah.
So that's advantage Rob. You see what I'm saying? It's kind of interesting, right? The dynamic.
Yeah. So it's like he's letting me know, like, he knows that, like, he has to stay away from my right hand. He knows that I got I time my jab well, and I have a long reach, and he's letting me know. And he's like, I remember my last fight, I missed Phillips with the right hand. He was like, whoa, man, like, you hear him, like, man, that lands, like, he has so much power. So like, he can see it, he can feel it. It's it's but again, he's a different animal, man. Like, he can't be running around chasing, trying to chase and hit, looking for
Mm.
all headshots with him. He's gonna make you miss. He's gonna make you pay. And so my big thing is I just can't chase him around the ring and cut him off the smart way and have educated feet and try to slow him down with leg kicks, with body shots, and then eventually look for that headshot.
Yeah. Um, Going back to your first training session, I'm curious. Um, what do you think he would have said to you, Coach Zahavi, Faraz Zahavi, had you not hopped on the treadmill? Like, do you think he was sending you a message that when you guys trained and he hopped on, he was almost like testing you and you
I
passed the test by jumping on,
I,
or you think he would
I
have said, "Hey, yo, don't grab them keys and you're not done"? Like, how do you think that
yeah,
would have
I,
gone?
I did feel that. I did feel that. So I'm glad I kind of passed the test. And he's funny too, because he'll let you know, he'll let you have it. Like, I was actually talking to one of his BJJ students. He was like, bro, he's not that mean with us. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's like the straight BJJ guy.
Mhm.
He's not that mean with us. Like, he goes off on all you guys because it's like what you guys do is so much dangerous than what we do, that he really puts a lot into it. So like, if you're not conditioning, he's gonna let you. You're gonna hear it. If you're messing up, you're gonna hear it. In a good way though. But then you flip him on the other side. He's just mad chill. He's real cool, funny. They have jokes for days. But yeah, I do think he might have been testing me, so I had to jump back on that trip. Man, it was like, there's no way he's gonna teach 10 classes, roll fucking 30 rounds and then jump on the treadmill. And I'm just, but it's funny though. Like, when I don't know what I was thinking. Like, it was like my summertime, and I just got back from Florida, and I was kind of hanging out a little bit, and I got there, I was dying, man. I was like, I wasn't like, I want to say being cocky or overconfident, but I thought, all right, I'm good. I just jumped in the class, and it was not the pressure, the pace, everything. It was just, it was like, it wasn't just, hey, slap hands, kind of have a friendly roll. Like, they're going at it, and they're wrestling too. And like, the best thing the most, what I like about him the most is, like, most like BJJ instructors, they want to, like, it's like a real slow, kind of chill kind of row. With him, it's like, no, we're wrestling first, and then once it hits the ground, then you can kind of play your jiu-jitsu game if you want to. But with him, it's like, you got to pop up, you got to pop up. Especially with me, where, like, I get taken down sometimes, and I'm like, I'm not popping up as quick enough. That whereas, like, that's all we're doing now is, like, we just, if you hit that ground, you're popping up as fast as you possibly can, and that, that's tiring. That kind of style is tiring, and it's been like that since the first day. So it's not like an easy, relaxed kind of like laying your back and try to play guard type of game. And it's how it's been ever since we got there.
I want to go back to the border. These things crack me up. Um, what's the most interesting question that they have asked you? Like, as they're kind of looking you up and down, why you coming into our country? I guess you got anything like, an interesting story or anything?
Actually, so my daughter and my fiance came here like 2 days ago, and
Mhm.
they grilled her. They're like, hey, does the father know that the baby's here, and is she allowed to be here? No, or are you sure that the father's here? And I guess she was supposed to have like a letter or something, like, saying, hey, this is where he's at, this is his number, you can come. So they grilled her for a while, and I was kind of like, yeah, that's right, man. Like, put some respect on my name, man. But like, I'm like, what's going on? But like, as far as me, not too much, like
None of
uh
them street fights came back to haunt you?
no, 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 nothing
They
like
never
that.
said like, "Hey, tell us more about this cartel." Nothing like
Yeah,
that.
exactly.
No,
There's some fishy
no,
stuff here.
no, like, never. Like, it's always like, just wanting to make sure. It always feels like they just want to make sure that, like, if I'm out here too long, they're trying to come get me for my taxes. So like, it is that kind of game where I can't be out here too long and playing. But no, like, it's been pretty cool. Last like 2 times that you could tell the guy that let us in, that you could tell he trained. He was an MMA fan, and so that I think that helped out a lot, and it just made it a little smoother. It still grilled us, but it made it a little smoother. And but it's mainly just like, obviously, like, how much money do you have on you? What kind of food or fruits are you bringing with you? And it's like, and stuff like that. Like, it's never really like, like, it feels like I'm getting grilled, but it's never that much until you get pulled over into the side. We haven't been searched yet. We but every time they do pull us over to kind of come in, I'm just worried, man. Like man, here we go, man. I just drove 4 hours. I just want to late because like from the border to Montreal, it's still another hour drive. So I'm like, man, I just want to get into this Airbnb and just take a nap, you know.
Because I'm just remembering now when I went, that when they pulled me over, they had me pull up my jacket to see if I had scars or tattoos, because my name was popping up and they were asking me my mom's maiden name and things like that. And so I had some sort of a suspect look to me
Yeah.
that they
Like,
were trying to figure out,
what's going
okay,
on with this?
George Garcia, there's freaking hundreds of them all over Latin America, United States, and I think they were trying to chop it down a little bit. But I remember they were on a earpiece, and he's like, "No tattoos," and then he had me pull up like, this one, no
Yeah.
scars or whatever. So that name, my name, popped up on something. If I would
Yeah.
have been that particular George Garcia, I might not have gotten in, or maybe I get handcuffed. Who knows? But it was intense, man.
Yeah, no, it's like yeah, it's this tough, man. It's like, like especially like, like like, especially with Garcia, such a common name, man. I can only
Mhm.
imagine there's like a million people trying to get in, get out, and like I would hate to be the wrong like like they mess up and get the wrong person, but yeah, luckily it's never been that bad.
Mhm. It was in 2004. Now that I remember, so it was like 3 years fresh from 9/11 and
Yeah.
all that. Out of curiosity, Font, is it short for more of a Latin name, or is Font just the last name from the Puerto Rico uh, lineage that you have? It's a unique name. I've never heard that
Yeah,
last name,
I
Font.
know.
I
I
don't think.
gotta do a little more research on it. I'm not too sure. I know I've heard of Fontaine a lot.
Hmm.
I
Mhm.
I did hear it's kind of has like a kind of like a French kind of a thing to it, but not too much. I gotta call my pops up and figure out like what's going on with this with so font. I get a lot of like computer jokes and all that, but yeah, not too.
Why are you being so bold? Like that's
Yeah, yeah, it's little things like that, like but yeah, I'm gonna call him. Actually, I'm gonna call him when I get off this. I'm gonna kind of like figure out what's the origins of that last name.
yeah. I was telling my pops, we're talking to Rob Font. Where's he from? Like, oh, back east, Puerto Rican. He's like, oh, I never heard that. And then it just triggered my curiosity, but no biggie. Rob, it's always great to catch up with you. And I know you went through this with the Yanez fight. You had some doubts from the previous fights, and then you defeated Adrian and you got some respect back. And I think that happened again, where you had a setback and then you had to come back and prove yourself against Kyler Phillips. And it seems like every time you just get better and better, and you're defying age. So that's very impressive, man.
I
So
appreciate it.
congrats to you for not throwing in the towel on yourself. If anything, you've made it tougher, by getting out of a comfortable environment, new city, colder city, and yet the performance was outstanding against a really solid fighter in Kyler Phillips.
Yeah,
Congrats
man.
to you on
Thank you,
that.
man. I appreciate that. That was a good one, man. It was like he was on tear, man. He was on a tear. He was finishing people. He's beat guys I lost to. It was a little I was a little nervous going into that fight. New camp, new coach. Um, you know, could have been my job in the line type of situation, and but we shut it all down, and I felt good. I got the W. It felt like you know like for the first time, even when it took me down, like it was a feeling of like I know I'm winning this fight. It wasn't like oh shit, I'm down. I gotta do it. And I was like, no, I'm getting up. I'm winning this fight. And even if he takes me down in the second round, like I know he can't keep me down. I can feel it. I can feel his body not like as sharp or as strong or as fresh as it was in the first round. He's slowing down, and the moment I get up, and then everything just seems so clear. And for the first time, I felt like the veteran, like the big pro in the fight, and yeah, it felt great.
Even more impressive is for 3 months you held on to the secret that you're fighting Dominick Cruz. Nobody knew a peep until it came out last week.
I really,
Very
and it's funny
impressive.
too.
You
Like
and
it was
Cater, you
funny.
guys can keep a secret.
Yeah, it was funny too because I feel like because even Faraz didn't show up. He had a fighter fight on that Friday, in Philadelphia, and then showed up to Vegas that Saturday. So nobody knew until like we walked out. You know, like we didn't. I didn't do much media. I wasn't like it wasn't like blasting all over social media and like that. So I really believe the moment his coach saw that, and I was like, I knew they were in something different, and then I could feel it. I could feel it. The everybody looking at me like, wait, hold up. Like that when I walked out with him, like, you can like even like the commentator when I told him like, oh wait, hold up, like you're going out with him, and it was like yeah, and it was, and Frost, man, he's just the man. He really is a genius. He really is, like you said, like he can pick a good, like he really can pick things up and break them down, and all the experience he has from like Rory to George to even his brother to like everybody he's worked with. Even
David Lawazu, Patrick Cote, that dude's
crazy,
gone through some generations.
crazy, man. Like
for sure.
And then
I think you might have misunderstood me. I meant you kept the secret of knowing you were fighting Dominick Cruz since October all the way until this past week when the rest of the world found out about it.
Yeah. So like, yeah, and it was pretty cool because I'm like, all right when we get back to the Airbnb, everything kind of settled down. Calvin told me, and I was like, all right, cool, and like let's do this, man. Like so, he kept the secret pretty cool too, and he kind of pulled me to the side, like, hey, like have fun tonight, but don't go too crazy because this is what they're thinking. And I'm like, perfect, let's go, man.
Nice,
nuts. All right. Hey, listen, thanks for the time today. We'll let you go, and
anytime, guys.
We will hopefully see you in the near future. And
let's
we'll
go. See you guys in Vegas
some,
soon.
Fuku Burger one day.
Let's go. I'll see you guys soon.